There are a lot of specialist courses in psychotherapy and energy therapy about guilt and shame and the impact of guilt and shame on our health. I've had a look at some, but because I agree with the descriptions of the impact, but I don't agree with the fundamental reasoning behind guilt and shame. I think Brené Brown has the best understanding of everyone that I've seen. We have very learnt behaviours around guilt and shame that misunderstand the core principles and the really deep fundamental reason that a tribal group has and uses guilt and shame. And when used appropriately, the point of it is to evoke compassion, evoke empathy. And when we evoke empathy, it means not just that we empathize with you. That's sympathy. If we just say, oh, that's terrible, they're there, that's just sympathy. Empathy is when we feel it for ourselves, and not just feel yours, but we feel a part of us in us that could or would do the same thing. And when we forgive, we're not forgiving the other person, we're forgiving the whole concept of idea of that type of behavior, and recognizing that we can do it too. Namaste, the light in me sees the light in you, or recognizes the light in you, doesn't just mean, I see you're shining brightly, that's very nice. It means on every level that I see I am you and you are me, and this part of you that's doing whatever that behavior is within me too. And in a group, if somebody is causing harm or pain to others, in whatever way, we'll talk about that separately, even just in manipulation, not letting them form their own understanding of their own boundaries, then that is not necessarily healthy guilt and shame. It is in itself a manipulation. It is a manipulation of someone else in order to make me feel better. And if you're using guilt and shame in very passive-aggressive ways, then you're actually just expressing your own fears. And the problem is that most people have those same fears, so they then don't hold their integrity because they feel they're supposed to change to help you fix yours. So it's become very misused. Empathy only works if there is redemption, because its purpose is redemption. Nero, come on! So I've lost a little dog to he's exploring to another dog. Redemption. Somebody feeling compassion, feeling empathy, and redeeming themselves, and being genuinely sorry, and doing what they can to fix it is really the purpose of guilt and shame. And you do have to separate the act from the person, and what I mean by that is the core person. The core of the person, if you believe the nature to be inherently good, no person would cause harm unless they are hurt themselves, and the only way they hurt themselves is they feel separate and have become fear-based, living in fear, living in there's a home there, living and expressing that separation through the way they behave. So understanding how other people manipulate us, how we manipulate others, how sometimes it's kind of appropriate, but if we don't have redemption for the other person's interaction with the group and our joint dynamic, then we have to really question what is our purpose of the behaviour that we're doing and our interaction with that other person's behaviour. So I can make somebody feel bad about themselves in order to help them separate out what they've done from who they really are, and allow them to see how someone else feels, maybe probably me, but if I'm using that as a tool to make them feel bad, to make myself feel better, which is what justice is mostly about, then there's no room for the person to redeem themselves, and the point is for me to redeem myself, because I have to have compassion and I have to have empathy for that person and for what they've done and for how they are behaving. So it's kind of complex, but it isn't. It's actually profoundly simple, but it just needs unpicking a little bit.